Okay, now in the second part we already discussed in the 9 steps. We are going to move creating database SQL server step by step. Okay, the video is focused for fresher, so I have to dictate everything step by step very slowly. You can understand it. Moreover, in your laptop you have to install SQL server, whatever may be the version, and as well as SQL management server, management studio. First you have to install SQL server, and then you have to install SQL server management studio, because SQL server is a backend. This is using the management studio only we can manipulate the data and manage the server. Okay, already if your system or laptop is 32-bit, you have to download the same 32-bit version of this software server, or 64-bit, you have to download the 64-bit. And now after installing it properly, you will find this icon. Okay, now open for the first step. Okay, so it will give this window. Server name will be displayed. This instead of this name, your system name will be appear, and the SQL Express will be appear, or whatever may be, and the instance name it may be varied as per your system. Next, the SQL Server authentication, Windows authentication mode. When you install the SQL Server, there are two methodologies. One is by default the system Windows authentication it will take, or we have to set SQL Server authentication when you install the SQL Server. Otherwise you will have here there is no way to find the SQL Server authentication. Okay, so this is the best practice always to use SQL Server authentication for any projects. All the companies have already the same setup, because it only help us to back up our entire database and restore it to remote servers. Using Windows authentication, which has several by default, it is very difficult to export or backup, everything. So this is best practice to use the SQL Server authentication. So when you install the SQL Server, you have to set as it is SA user login and password. So the password are already stored. I just click the connect, and it will connect to the database. So already for the training, for the demo, I created the respective database and as well as the required tables in this view, in the server. But for the freshers, I hope nowadays all the freshers know how to create database as well as tables using script as well as in front-end tool. Some of the freshers does not know any idea in how. So for them, I just explain how to create a database, and the same the demo DB we are going to use in this tutorial. But for the sake of freshers, who have no idea to create the database, I just go to one step further how to create. Move the cursor to database, create new database. Click on new database. It will give you the wizard stuff. Likewise here. Here there are so many options in this. Okay, this is a huge concept. In a real time, the DBA will take care of it. So for the demo point of view, we just type any database name. Here I already gave demo DB name, so you can create of your one database name to demo DB2 or whatever may be. Okay, now if we click OK, it will create it automatically and will show under database demo DB2. Okay, here if we expand this plus symbol, you can find the tables. We use everything here. Okay, we are going to create table, so for right click a new table. Okay, in the process, for the to illustrate cascading drop down list, we need at least 3 tables to store the country one table, and to store the respective states one table, and to store the cities in another table. So we are going to create 3 tables, and then after that we have to set the relationship among the table. Somewhat it is not best practice to create all the country, cities, state in one table. That's not advisable. It will make the project huge complex when project grows. Okay, that's why we are split up that everything into 3 tables and set the relationship. The database schema as per database style. Now you have to enter the ID, name, and select the data type. Here in this example, I set it integer and allow nulls empty. To auto increment this column, I have to set the both row on identity, expand this column, is identity specification, give yes. Why we provide this one yes? Because for example, assume that you are going to enter 30 or 40 countries here. You don't need to every time 1, 2, 3 in the ID column. It will automatically allocated by system. You only need to enter the country name on edit mode. So that's why we increase by 1. Identity increment by 1 means the identity column, primary key column, it will automatically incremented. It is must, and you have to put the is identity yes, and right click, then set primary key. Why? Because this primary key is, then we have to refer on another table as a foreign key. Okay, what is the primary key and what is the foreign key? I hope you all know in your education system. Or otherwise you have to study, go through any find tutorial about the database management system. Okay, now country name, whatever may be, I provide just for example. It should be NVRK 50. So assume thing about size. Whatever the worldwide the country, there is no any country larger than 50 letters, 50 characters. So even though I provide 150, in future it may be rise. Okay. Now you have to save everything. NVRK means numerical integer, the data type. I hope you all know well about it. Now save as country or country table, whatever. Always it is best practice using the suffixes like this, as it will easily identify by others. This is the master table. MSTE means master, country underscore master. Master table, detail table. For example, if detail, you can use the suffix detail. Transaction, if you can use TRN. These are the common name given methodologies. It is for the sake of programmer to programmer understanding. That's all. It does not mean whatever the table. Putting is a convention to follow, but not necessary. Okay, understand that. What is the transaction, what is the detail, what are the master, this is the data pair concept. I will explain in another one video. Okay, now this is the country. Okay, you have to provide country. Also after that, here you can expand the tables, you can find the country and you can right click and select it. There is no any data in it, country, so we didn't enter it. We are going to enter data. So now edit mode, just enter India first. Okay, next USA. Okay, I have sample the country ID automatically taken by the system 1 and 2 because we set it as auto increment. Identity specification is yes. So the system will allocate the 1, 2 extra. If you type another one, it will third will display it. Okay, that's fine. I am going to enter. Now I am going to select the table here, India and USA. Its primary key is 1 and USA primary key is 2. Now the same things you have to follow for another one table, state ID, whatever may be, state ID 1, integer, the same column, allow not nulls. These are the concept I have to explain, but I have no time. So many large, huge concept in database. So we focused only on what is what mean. So the identity specification here also I am going to set. So just watch and practice like it. Now state name or name, whatever maybe, NVRK 50, sometimes state name larger, so 250 I provide, 250 character maximum allocate. If any state like the 300 characters, it will not be stored, the system will provide error. Okay, now you have to save the table state underscore MST. But for to explain about the naming convention, I here provide the MST, transaction whatever may be. But in demo DB, I just use the country, state, city only. Okay. This sorry, I have to save state name. Okay, state name. Like that, the state name will appear here. You have to edit tab. Here you have to enter everything. But what we miss something, you have to again go to design mode, right click and design. We miss one column to store the primary key of country ID. So here I provide one additional column, country ID F key, which means foreign key. But it is for simplicity, I provide the F key. You can just make it country ID only. Okay. You have to understand it is the foreign key. Okay. This should also, it must be integer. Why? Because in country, the design, this is the integer data type. So here also we have to provide integer. Okay. We have to choose integer. Then only you can set the relationship, the country and the country ID foreign key. So what it means? The state, each and every state must hold the country's ID here. That's why we make the primary foreign key. Okay, now save and close. Open. Go to design. Go to enter the data. Here I provide sample data only. Okay, state name, for example, Tamil Nadu, and the country ID FK. I already know because this is a sample data. We already know India is number 1 in country master table. Okay, I just enter as 1 because Tamil Nadu, what it means? Tamil Nadu is belongs to India. Am I correct or not? Yeah, I am correct. Okay, next Kerala. Kerala also belongs to India. And Andhra Pradesh. Andhra, simply Andhra, just for also 1. Okay, next what to fee state. These are the state. California is belongs to USA, so provide 2. And what any other California, so any other state, what are the state we have to enter other states. Likewise you have to enter. So what's the main thing you have to watch is the foreign key should match the country ID. Okay, now if you select the data, California belongs to 2, all other are belongs to 2. Okay, the same. I hope you understand the concept well. Creating table and creating column. Okay, now I am going to create a city, the same methodology, using the same methods, and identity specifications here also. Yes, and right click set primary key. I forgot to set the primary key in the state, so that's why it's a main problem. Don't forget, set the primary key, right click and set the primary key and save it, because or otherwise MVC will